All right, in just a little while, the Senate will have a cloture vote on the so-called Women's Health Protection Act, which is really the Abortion on Demand Until Birth Act. Within the past hour, Republicans in the Senate spoke out strongly against the legislation, doing so on the Senate floor and then at a press conference just a few moments ago. Joining me now to talk about this and what's behind it is Senator Roger Marshall of Kansas, who is a member of the Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions. He is also a former business owner and a physician that has delivered over 5,000 babies. Dr. Marshall, welcome back to the program.
Tony, great to be on with you tonight.
All right, the Senate is back from recess, and with everything going on in the world, I mean, we have Ukrainians fighting for freedom against Russia, who need help desperately. I mean, the president, Zelensky's asking for ammunition. And what are we doing in our Senate? We're not humanitarian aid, not security for the Ukrainians, but we're trying to eliminate all pro-life legislation that's been passed in the states over the last 40 years.
Yeah, Tony, I can't believe it myself. At a time when Vladimir Putin is murdering Ukrainians, my Democrat colleagues want to murder more unborn Americans for any reason up until the baby takes its first breath. Can you imagine that? Up until the baby takes its first breath, they want to be able to do an abortion. I've never seen anything like this, and I just want to highlight all the work that Family Research Council has done, all your listeners, my folks back home, the Kansans for Life folks, the Susan B. Anthony folks, all those people that have worked so hard to protect the life of the unborn, as well as the health of the moms. In one swoop, the Democrats want to wipe all that out and stop it. It's just unthinkable. And I just walked off the Senate floor, and it's so emotional right now. I can hardly even just communicate how upset we are about this.
Well, Senator Marshall, this actually does expose some things on the left because, it is the abortion wing of the Democratic Party that is pushing for this vote, even though they're pretty certain it's going to fail because it's not going to get the 60 votes to move forward. But they think this is their best chance to codify Roe v. Wade into law, which exposes the left's mantra that abortion on demand is the law of the land. It actually is not. That's a lie that we've been living under. It's a court decision. But now, knowing that the court may very well overturn Roe, they're trying to make a law forcing abortion on all of America.
Right. And of course, this goes way beyond what Roe v. Wade said. And you and I think that abortion is wrong at every moment, that life begins at conception. But this goes way, way beyond anything we could have ever dreamed of. It does things like if a faith-based hospital would be tied up in courts because they don't do abortions, conscious objection. So a person like myself, I would have had to quit medical school over this issue. I think if we lose conscious objection, we're going to lose half of the medical students and nursing students if they knew they were going to be forced to participate in an abortion. This law gets rid of informed consent and parental consent. It just goes on and on how far it goes, but mostly it wipes out any type of state laws that you and I have worked so hard about, whether it's the partial birth abortion laws or just protecting mom's health. Let's think about that just for a second. Let's focus on mom's health for a moment. This legislation would allow these abortions to be done in a garage, in the backroom apartment. It would not have any more states would say, look, if you're doing abortions, you have to at least have it at the same level as a surgery center that's certified by the health department. So they would get rid of that, and no longer would they require physicians to do this procedure. They would allow nurse midwives, physician's assistants to do the procedure. And I'm telling you, Tony, I trained as an obstetrician myself. I would never even dream of letting an intern do this procedure. So 4 years of medical school and maybe a second or third year residence when we would let people, walk in that operating room alone. This will cost women their lives. It's going to cost their future fertility. We'll have women bleeding to death, infected, and become infertile because of these procedures being done by novices.
Dr. Marshall, there's so many examples of the unintended consequences of the legislation that the left has pushed just in the last year. But what you've just listed off in this one piece of legislation, when we're already in a healthcare crisis, in part because of the vaccine mandates, we have a shortage in the healthcare field already, this would create even further I mean, do they not even consider the consequences of their actions?
I'm not sure they're even aware of them, Tony. I understand that there are people in medical school that don't have strong opinions on this, but most people that go into healthcare would walk away. Look, they say, look, I'm not going to judge you, but most people in medical school would say, I don't want to participate in this. Yep. And certainly not at this extreme level. You think about these late-term abortions that they would be performing. Again, it scares me to death. They're so complicated. They're so hard to perform. So I'm some nurse practitioner doing this, a PA doing it. I couldn't imagine, and really, no, they don't think of the unintended consequences. They have no idea how many people would say, no, I'm done.
Well, my daughter's in healthcare, and I know she would walk away from it if she had to be a part of this. Dr. Roger Marshall, always great to talk with you. Thank you for fighting the fight there on Capitol Hill. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, Tony, and thank you for keeping the fight. I just want to encourage your listeners to reach out to their senators and their congressmen, see how they vote on this tonight, and blow their phones up tomorrow. I don't know how any person could take communion on Sunday and vote in favor of this bill. So if you have a Democrat senator that votes yes on this, I hope your folks blow up their phones and their emails tomorrow asking them in good conscience, how could they vote yes for this late-term abortion bill?
Good advice. Folks, take that advice.